All right, we're on the play. Smells like Rug Delver. This hand looks fantastic. I'm probably gonna fetch out an island with this Misty, cast a Visions, turn 2 Goyf, turn 3 Interact to keep. See if the opponent keeps. Our opponent quit our previous match after game 1. I'm not going to say what I was playing against, in case. Actually, I don't see there being a downside to saying what I was playing against, because that only means anyone who watches this video before that one, assuming I decide to publish that one, which would only happen if game 1 was really good. I don't think I want this Mandrills. We already have 2 threats. Maybe I do. I've got another fetch. I can always get rid of it. Is the 4th land better than the Mandrills? I don't think it is. Let's get rid of that 4th land. We'll keep the Mandrills in case we're playing against a control deck. Let's have the opponent take the turn. If I do publish the video that they quit after I sideboarded, our opponent discarded Gristlebrand. Okay, I was wondering if they just accidentally skipped their turn. That was intentional. If I do decide that the video's worth publishing, then anyone who watches this one before that one just gets to decide if they want to watch a video that's just game 1. I played against Scred Red, the Blood Moon deck. I'm only specifying because my friend plays a Scred Blue Moon deck that he's very happy about and proud of. So when I think Scred, I think multiple decks, although I guess Scred Blue Moon is also a Blood Moon deck. We won't go too deep on that. I like having a Lightning Bolt up. I definitely like being able to attack. I might want to bolt before I attack, but I actually think I'm better served by playing this Delver and holding up Spell Snare. Spell Snare counters pretty much every reanimation spell in Gristlebrand. So having Spell Snare up while establishing a clock seems extremely good. So I might publish the Scred Red match, or rather game. Yeah, we want to reveal that. And if I don't, there's not really any downside for spoiling the fact that they quit. So there you go. Once again, I have to consider whether or not I want to bolt before I attack, and I just remembered why I was telling you about that match. Because people like to quit matches on Xmage, I dropped the quit percentage to 30. Hopefully that mitigates the amount of people who quit our matches, and if it doesn't, we're going to drop it some more. Hopefully that makes for higher quality videos and less time that I spend playing just one game. Do we want to bolt before we attack? If we bolt, this becomes a 4-5, they go to 14, and that's a 2-turn clock. That seems really good. If we don't bolt, though, I think we still have a 2-turn clock, because we bolt them on the end step, but if we don't bolt, we basically just Serum Visions, because that's the only reason not to bolt here. I think I'd rather Lightning Bolt. Select them, pay red. We're going to do it before we attack, grow this Tarmogoyf. We have no way to simultaneously draw a 3rd blue source and a 2nd counterspell off of Serum Visions, so Visions isn't an immediate help. I think we just want to hold up that Spell Snare, get some damage in. Even if they kill the Aberration, we still have them dead. So I think they just have to either combo off here, which we will happily Spell Snare, or maybe they just have 2 Goryo's Vengeances, and they do end up getting it, or they need to Shoal, Pitch, World Spineworm, or Borborygmos, and survive. We're going to do that. Go to their turn. It's the end step. I'm out of instants that I can cast. We have a Bolt. Can't cast that without red mana. Hooting Mandrills can't be cast at instant speed. I'm sure there are cards that would enable that. I don't think that's worth building around. Here's a Nourishing Shoal. They don't want to die. Did they just splice through the breach? They can't pay for that, so I don't know why they spliced it. We do now know that they have a Through the Breach in hand. I closed the window, so I'm going to do my best to remember that, and hopefully not be annoying while I remind you guys of it. I definitely want to attack because, once again, they're facing down a 2-turn clock. We are back in the position where we can't Serum Visions and really benefit from it immediately. Do we want to do it so that we benefit in the future, though? Our opponent, I'm considering casting this Hooting Mandrills to make it more likely that we kill them. Maybe I don't want to show them Mandrills. We also would be getting rid of the sorcery in the bin, so Goyf would get a little smaller. I think I do want to cast the Serum Visions. We found a Simic Charm, which is actually pretty good. Disrupting Shoal is also pretty good if we draw it. If we don't draw it, it's really bad. Don't think I want this Traverse. We can Traverse for an island so that we can basically cast the same things that are in our hand. So that seems kind of bad. Let's bottom that. I'll keep the Shoal. I actually believe our opponent is just going to die, because if they go for a big Nourishing Shoal, we will probably consider countering it. If they animate a Gristlebrand, we'll probably consider that splice. I'm going to be concerned with. Now they're splicing. Now we want to counter the they cast Nourishing Shoal using the alternative cost splicing Through the Breach. That is confusing as hell. I believe they're casting Through the Breach. No, they're splicing Through the Breach onto Nourishing Shoal. That's fine. That can activate. They gain 2 life. Okay, we're gonna bounce this. That was extremely confusing to read. Oh, Splice is an activated ability that adds the text onto Nourishing Shoal. I see what happened. We're not declaring any blockers. We're gonna bounce that real quick. That could have been bad. Return target creature. That one. Yeah, that'll do. So, what our opponent did was they cast Nourishing Shoal. They apparently gained 2 life, so they exiled a 2 CMC green card. I should have checked what it was, because I don't know what 2 CMC green cards that deck runs. So they gained 2 life, and what they did was they paid the 4 mana that Through the Breach specifies as its splice cost to add Through the Breach's rules text onto the Nourishing Shoal, which they cast without paying its mana cost, which meant if we countered the Nourishing Shoal, they wouldn't gain life and they wouldn't get the World Spine Worm. So that was also a way to make them dead by using our trusty Stubborn Denial. I'm probably going to consult Google to figure out what that was, but first, let's sideboard. Dismember has some applications against, I like using it against Gristlebrand, not Gristlebrand the deck. You can dismember Gristlebrand to make them only gain 2 life, as opposed to 7, which can sometimes royally screw them up. Their mana costs on their permanents are extremely high. Graveyard Hay. I don't think I want the Mountain. Don't want Blood Moons. I just took Dismember out, so I probably don't want it. Their creatures are big. Huntmaster is slow, and I don't think they run any artifacts or enchantments. I'll consult that while I consult Google. We took out a Dismember. We brought in a Surgical Extraction. I think that might be exactly what we want. I could see cutting bolts, so maybe we want to cut a bolt for a Dismember, but that seems a little risky. While I ponder that, I'm going to Google Gristlebrand. Let's go to MTG Goldfish. Take a quick look. 2 CMC blue cards, Manamorphose, or another Nourishing Shoal, which is blue X, that's Disrupting Shoal. It's green X. So, it was stock, most likely whatever they discarded, exiled. I'm using a bunch of words today. A lot of them are not correct. Curiosity seems excellent. I could see cutting a Snapcaster Mage, but it's one of the 2 CMC pitches for Shoal. Basically, I don't want to cut any blue cards because they're all great. They bounce things, they counter things, they fill up our graveyard for mandrills, they draw cards. They're all excellent, our blue cards. I could see cutting a Traverse, but I don't hate Traverse Snap. Do I want Dismember more than the 6th Bolt? Sure. It being the 6th Bolt, of course, because there are 2 Tarfires. I think 1 Dismember is at least passable. It has applications. It can pseudo-gain us 1 life by shrinking the enemy. This is a hand I would strongly consider keeping because it has Blue Source, plus Serum Visions. We're even on the draw, so we have extra chances at that 2nd land. We've got interaction in the form of Vapor Snag, although we don't have too much going on. So it is possible we threw away this game with that keep, but I think it is at least a somewhat possible keep. Island makes this significantly better because now next turn I can bolt Vapor Snag if that's relevant. I almost want to hold up. No, I don't see a scenario in which they discard Gristlebrand and have the mana to reanimate it, and the cards to do all. It's super unlikely. I will even try to work out the math on that. They'll have 4 cards next turn. They need Faithless Looting to discard. I don't want Mandrills. I like Serum Visions. They need Looting to discard. They need Simian Spirit Guide. Land. That gets them the requisite mana. They need Gristlebrand. They need Goryo's Vengeance. So they actually need 5 cards to do the extremely convoluted way that holding up Vapor Snag is actually advantageous for us, and they only have 4 after their draw step. Collective Brutality is pretty good, though. Don't hate me a Collective Brutality. I would be very happy to take the Vapor Snag out of my opponent's hand in their position. Discarded a Gristlebrand, so it looks like they're draining some life. We're at 16, they're at 22. That's consistent with what we assumed. We're going to draw Serum Visions. I don't think I play this island, because if I draw a green source, I can Traverse, which might be good, and I really don't think we need to bolt yet. We drew a Hooting Mandrills, but there is a green source on top. I don't want both, but I just don't want both. I'm considering the possibility that we want a second green source, because we can always fetch in the likely scenario that we don't want the second, but I just really don't think we want it. They don't know we drew this Mandrills, so we will play the island and allow them to at least consider the possibility that we can interact, which we can't. We know that. They don't. They're going to know what this Scalding Tarn is, but once again, they don't know our Mandrills over here is not a counterspell or a Vapor Snag, Simic Charm, the like. There could be a Goryo's Vengeance coming right now. It's not super likely that our opponent's only card in hand is Goryo's Vengeance. Of course, it's not super unlikely because it's a 4 of, and it's the non-Shoal version is known as Goryo's Vengeance, so it's kind of the namesake of the deck. You expect them to draw it sooner or later, and you'd think they'd want to keep hands that have it. So I'm just going to try to be somewhat entertaining while we wait for our opponent here. They are pondering our fetch for whatever reason. Maybe they have something, maybe they're bluffing something, I don't know. I don't have a counterspell or any way to interact with their combo, so I honestly don't care right now. We get to search. We're going to get a Breeding Pool. We'll get a Stomping Ground. They know we have plenty of red cards. May as well be able to use them. We will hold up the possibility of Vapor Snag and Stubborn Denial. And we'll see what the opponent does. I don't think it's very likely that we're going to want to use any of these burn spells on their end step, because I don't want them thinking that I don't want us to tap out while they have mana up, basically. I'll happily attack. Do I want to traverse? I don't have a graveyard. Traverse seems pretty bad when you don't have a graveyard. Let's go to end step and start flinging burn spells. It is relevant that Bolt can kill, I think, something. I'm going to want to use this Tarfire because it adds an extra card type. And let's start loosing lightning bolts. Simic Charm is fantastic because now we actually can interact. We can bounce their reanimated dude and then fire off a couple burn spells. We might see a Gristlebrand to block, in which case we go to bounce it. They might try to draw some cards, but if they try to draw some cards after Gristlebrand gets bounced, they might actually just die. I can't tell how much life our opponent has right now because that arrow is blocking it. I think that says 12. Now it's 8. Our opponent is very close to death. Do we want to traverse? I don't think so, because if we traverse, they might assume that Simic Charm is one fewer out that we could have to their combo, decide to combo right now, and then before we get our forest, we tap out of interaction. So we're just going to hold up Simic Charm plus Burn Spell. Looks like our opponent's dead. Hopefully they are. Faithless Looting is A-okay. That doesn't scare me. Necrotic Ooze. I'm going to read that. Black, 2, it's a 4/3 Ooze creature. As long as it's on the battlefield, it has all activated abilities of all creatures in all graveyards. That's dope. Our opponent was almost certainly dead when they scooped. We attack. They're at 8. We probably just attack and bolt. Yeah, I don't really see a reason to tap out of Simic Charm, especially because they could just shoal if we go for the kill, so it's not even guaranteed that they're actually dead to the 2 burn spells in our hand. So I think you continue to hold up the Simic Charm and then just kill them once it's convenient for us. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Gristlebrand is probably one of our very best matchups because we play threat, we counter spells, they die. Bam. Yeah, probably is our best matchup. People in the MTG Salvation thread like to say that Infect is a very good matchup because, once again, we clock them, we have a bunch of removal, and usually they fall over before we're dead. Obviously, you want to interact outside of combat there, but I think Goryo's Vengeance would be our best. I think it's a tier 2 deck, and Infect is kind of rare these days, so I don't think that's tier 2 right now. So, assuming Goryo's Vengeance is tier 2 and Infect is tier 3, Goryo's is probably our best tiered matchup. Although, I'm sure there are tiered matchups that are also very good, but that one's just, there's a very high chance that we win. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that, and hopefully you stick around for more Rug Delver.